How you guys doing today? It's Anthony Ganji. Welcome to another episode of Tear Talk. Guys, where is Melodee Buzzard? Look at this beautiful girl, guys. Look at this girl. She's missing. And the internet is starting to pick up that this young girl is missing. Last seen, possibly, with her mother, Ashley Buzzard. Before I give you a breakdown, let me show you some videos that have been posted about her. First one.
Strange and suspicious missing child's case coming out of Lompoc, California. This right here is now 9-year-old Melodee Buzzard. On Tuesday, October 14th, 2025, a school official actually contacted the Santa Barbara County Sheriff's Office to let them know of Melodee's prolonged absence. Deputies ended up going to Ashley Buzzard's home right here in Lompoc, California, where Melodee is believed to have lived, and they said that Melodee was not there and there was no clear explanation provided as to where she was by her mom. This is when authorities were able to uncover that the last known sighting of Melodee was at least a year ago, and that a photograph has not been taken of Melodee in at least 2 years. Now, I did come across a post on FB from a woman by the name of Michelle Hernandez. She says that Melodee is the daughter of her ex-boyfriend and that he has passed away. She also said that Ashley, Melodee's mother, suffers with mental health issues. The Santa Barbara County Sheriff's Office is asking anyone who has come into contact with Ashley and or Melodee in the last year or two to reach out to them. If you feel like you've seen either of these two in the past year or two, let them know. I will put their information in the description. I don't know. It's not looking good here. I will keep you guys updated on the latest information pertaining to this case, so make sure you're following me. You guys, we have a very strange and suspicious missing child.
There's another one here.
This is Melodee Buzzard. She is missing out of Santa Barbara, California. This is the Facebook post regarding her missing. And this is her mother, the last person to be seen with her. She's been missing since 2024. The school just reported Melanie being missing a year after she had not checked in at homeschool.
So I want to see if there's another more recent. So bear with me, guys. I want to see if we can find a more recent posting. So let's back out here. So these are 4 days ago, but I think there's some that's more recent. 2 hours. No, that's not that one. 11 hours ago, rally for missing 9-year-old. Okay, let's look at this one real quick.
People in Santa Barbara County are searching for answers after a 9-year-old girl disappeared. Authorities say the girl's mother is not cooperating. Now people are going so far as to protest outside the family's home. We want answers! We want answers! The search for Melodee Buzzard started last week after a school administrator reported the girl's extended absence from a school program. Authorities believe that Melodee was last seen with her mother back on October 7th, but her mother is not talking to investigators. So neighbors are now on close watch. They say they have seen activity inside the home, despite authorities saying the mother hasn't been home in 48 hours. Neighbors also created a Facebook group to share tips that could lead to Melodee.
Besides the garage being open almost 48 hours now, which we don't know if she knows or not, she was burning something in the fireplace last night, but paper was coming out.
It's about time. Like, organization is going to be key in this. Like, if they're not going to press her until she cracks, like, I'm sorry, it's time.
The sheriff's office has not indicated whether the mother is a suspect in this case, but they did say a search warrant served at the home last week did not provide answers about Melodee's whereabouts.
Okay, guys, so I do got information. Santa Barbara County Sheriff's Office, if you want to give them a call, if you do have any information about this missing girl, number's 805-681-4150, or for an anonymous tip, 805-681-4171. I want to break down some information that I have here so we could share just to get ourselves more familiarized with this case. And again, this is Melodee Buzzard, and that's her mom, Ashley Buzzard. Here's a picture of Melodee by herself. Another picture of her by herself. And there's the picture of the mom right here. So there's a couple of things as we break down the story that I think could be a concern. So let's just break down the story real quick. Disappearance of 9-year-old Melodee Buzzard. So background and family context. So Melodee Buzzard was born in late 2016 to mother Ashley Buzzard and father Rubiel Mesa. Her father died in a motorcycle accident shortly after her birth. After that tragedy, Ashley Buzzard moved away from the couple's Santa Maria home with Melodee in tow and has since refused to let Melodee's paternal relatives see the girl. Family members on the father's side report they have not seen Melodee in about 4.5 years. Paternal aunt Vicky Shade told police that Ashley just kept Melodee away from us and then moved with the child. Another relative, Melodee's aunt Elizabeth Mesa, said on social media that she considers Ashley Buzzard mentally unstable and has not seen her niece in over 4 years. So let's talk about the schooling. So for several years, Melodee was educated exclusively at home. The Santa Barbara Sheriff's Office has said she was homeschooled for at least a couple of years. However, state education records show Ashley Buzzard never even filed the required annual affidavit for a private homeschool in California. As the California Department of Education noted, filing an affidavit is the only requirement for homeschooling. And in Melodee's case, no affidavit was ever filed or ever on file. This meant Melodee's education and welfare went largely unmonitored by the state. In mid-August 2025, Buzzard went to the Lompoc Unified School District and formally enrolled Melodee in an independent study program often used for homeschoolers. But within weeks, Melodee stopped attending, and according to district officials, Melodee registered at Mission Valley Independent Study School in August, but then failed to pick up classroom assignments for several weeks. By early October, the program escalated the case. A student who repeatedly misses assignments is referred back to the local school, and truancy procedures kick in. So calls, letters, home visits. When Buzzard could not be reached to explain Melodee's absence, the district alerted law enforcement to the prolonged absence. So let's talk about this timeline. So in August of 2025, Buzzard formally enrolled Melodee in the independent study program, but within weeks, the girl was not completing any work. Late September 2025, so there's a gap here. According to Lompoc Unified officials, Melodee stopped picking up assignments from the school. When weeks passed with no contact, administrators became concerned. Weeks. October 14, 2025, Tuesday, a school administrator reported Melodee's unexplained absence to Lompoc police. Deputies went to the family home in Vandenberg Village on Mars Avenue that day. Neither Ashley nor Melodee was there, and neighbors had no explanation for the girl's whereabouts. October 15, 2025, which was a Wednesday, deputies returned that evening. This time, Ashley Buzzard was at home, but Melodee was still missing. No one could account for where Melodee was. That night, law enforcement obtained and executed a search warrant at the residence. They reportedly found no evidence of Melodee's location. On October 17, 2025, the sheriff's office publicly announced the search, noting initially only that Melodee had not been seen since late 2024. By October 20th, the timeline was revised. Okay, so we'll get to October 20th. But right now, on October 17th, the sheriff's office publicly announced the search, noting initially that Melodee had not been seen since late 2024, but that changed on the 20th, so we'll get to that. So October 18th to the 19th, 2025, that's a weekend. Looks like the FBI joined the investigation. So on Sunday, the FBI announced via social media that it was assisting Santa Barbara County detectives. Meanwhile, local community members began posting flyers, holding vigils, and demanding answers at the Buzzard home, and we kind of saw them by the door. October 20th, 2025, Monday, in a major update, the sheriff's office disclosed that evidence indicates Melodee was last seen on October 7th, 2025. So that's a closer gap. Investigators said Ashley Buzzard was with Melodee on that date and that they tracked a white rental Chevrolet Malibu license 9MNG101 that Buzzard drove possibly as far away as Nebraska with Melodee inside. The rental car is no longer in Buzzard's possession, suggesting a change in vehicle after October 7th. The update confirmed Ashley remains uncooperative, that's the mom, providing no new leads on her daughter's status. Authorities also described the case as suspicious and continue to classify it as an active missing person investigation. As of this late October report, Melodee has not been found and no further evidence, photo, or confirmed sighting of her has emerged beyond the October 7th time frame. Let's talk about Ashley Buzzard's actions and travel. So investigators zeroed in on Ashley Buzzard almost immediately. They confirmed that she rented the white Chevrolet Malibu used in the October 7th outing and that this vehicle traveled outside Santa Barbara County, possibly to Nebraska. The FBI National Crime Information Center has a database of rental records and license plate readers, which likely helped establish this record. Sources say Buzzard has not returned any calls from police or provided any explanation for Melodee's absence. In fact, law enforcement told media that Ashley Buzzard remains uncooperative and has not provided detectives with any information about Melodee's current location or condition. Now, again, reasonably, we would figure most moms would be actively involved in this. So obviously that's a very suspicious sign, a mother not wanting to be involved. It's crazy too, because she's not even pretending to want to be involved. She's just outright cutting everyone off. In plain terms, Ashley has been unreachable for comment. She has not volunteered where Melodee is, nor even confirmed whether she intends to hand her over to authorities. The sheriff department has appealed publicly for Buzzard to come forward, but as of the latest update, she has declined to cooperate. One consequence, Melodee's missing person case cannot be closed until investigators know her welfare. The sheriff's office has made clear their primary goal is to verify Melodee's location and ensure she is safe, but Buzzard's silence makes that difficult. So I know some people are wondering, why don't they just bring the mother in? Why don't they charge the mother? Remember, it seems like the world kind of gives the benefit to the people who could be doing things wrong. But here, police haven't brought her in, most likely because there's no direct evidence of a crime yet. Law enforcement has confirmed that Melodee is missing. Her mother is uncooperative, and the situation is suspicious, but suspicion alone is not enough to arrest or detain someone. Without clear proof of neglect, abuse, abduction, or endangerment, police cannot charge her. Remember, they did check the home. Parent has legal custody as Melodee's mother. Ashley has legal rights to custody unless a court has removed them. Simply refusing to cooperate is not itself a crime. And investigative caution: if they rush an arrest without airtight probable cause, case could collapse in court or evidence could be suppressed. What could change that? Evidence could emerge showing Melodee is harmed, abandoned, or concealed. And that kind of makes sense. If you look at the Emmanuel Harrow case, they had reason to believe that the child was killed, and then they made the arrest. Court orders, like a protective custody order or warrant, they're issued compelling Ashley to produce the child. So that would probably be coming up soon, hopefully. And federal charges come into play. Crossing state lines with a child while evading authorities can trigger federal jurisdiction. So again, that court order would be important. To the public, it looks like inaction because Ashley's uncooperative and the child is missing, but law enforcement is working behind the scenes, reviewing rental car records, digital data, financial transactions, and interstate travel. They're building a case that, once strong enough, allows them to either compel her testimony or arrest her without risking dismissal. Mind you, like the Vallow case. So they can force her to produce the child, and if she doesn't, then maybe there's something there. Maybe they could push forward. So let me do the law enforcement update. So each new release from Santa Barbara officials has slowly narrowed the scope of the case. The October 20 press statement is the most current law enforcement update. It specifies the October 7th sighting and the Nebraska route, and it repeats the alert for tips. Earlier, on October 17th, the department had revised its initial estimate of how long Melodee had been missing. First, they said last seen October 2024, then later, as recently as August of 2025. This confusion reflected the time gap between her disappearance and the belated report. The sheriff has repeatedly emphasized the case remains a missing person investigation. No arrests have been made, and no suspects has been publicly identified. Authorities have not revealed any new evidence or persons of interest beyond the vehicle records. They stress that all viable leads, including tips on the rental car or sightings of Ashley Buzzard, are being pursued around the clock. The FBI and local detectives continue to collaborate, reviewing cell phone data, credit card records, and other forensic clues to piece together Buzzard's movement since October 7th. So far, however, they only confirmed updates from law enforcement The only confirmed updates from law enforcement are what was released to the press: Melodee's last known dates, the car information, and her mother's non-cooperation. And the public and media reaction. News of Melodee's disappearance quickly spurred community action and national attention. In Vandenberg Village, dozens of neighbors and relatives have posted "Where is Melodee?" signs around Buzzard's home and on social media. I think we saw that in one of the news videos. On Sunday, October 19th, a crowd gathered around the family Mars's Avenue house to pray and demand answers from Ashley, captured by local TV with heart-wrenching chants. "We want answers." Some of them believe Ashley's still in the house, but the police believe that she left, has been gone for the last 48 hours. One image from the vigil shows residents holding Melodee's pictures and walking posters, a picture later broadcast on CNN and local stations. Social media saw an outpouring. A Facebook group called "In Search of Melodee" formed within hours of the news. So guys, check that out. "In Search of Melodee" formed within hours of the news, amassing hundreds of and then thousands of members sharing tips and theories. National outlets and true crime commentators also began covering the story. The case went viral on Twitter and Instagram, drawing attention from legal analysts like Nancy Grace and discussions on major morning shows. Many community members joined online sleuths who probe every detail in hopes of clues. At the same time, law enforcement repeatedly cautioned the public not to conduct their own searches or spread unverified rumors, warning that well-intentioned vigilante efforts could hinder the official investigation. So, systemic gaps and what went wrong. So this case has highlighted several breakdowns in oversight. The most obvious is California's lax homeschooling laws. State education officials admit they do not verify private instruction beyond requiring a one-time affidavit. In Melodee's situation, the Department of Education had no record of Ashley Buzzard ever submitting even the basic paperwork. As a result, Melodee slipped under the radar of school authorities entirely until she was nearly 10. When she finally entered the public system via an independent study, the built-in truancy checks were supposed to catch her absence. If a student misses assignments, the local district makes calls and home visits, then involves police if needed. But here, at least 2 weeks went by after Melodee stopped attending before police were alerted. A delay some critics say was far too long. It is not clear whether routine truancy calls or letters were sent. District officials have not detailed that timeline publicly. Child welfare experts note that no agency was monitoring Melodee's welfare. Before the disappearance, no social worker or doctor appears to have evaluated the family. Even Melodee's own relatives had no legal avenue to check on her since she was not in state custody. In sum, a combination of hands-off homeschool rules and a non-cooperative caregiver created the perfect blind spot. As one commentary put it, Melodee fell through the cracks of a system where homeschooling families are self-regulated. Family members and observers now wonder if the extended absence could have been discovered earlier had any one of these red flags, no affidavits, skipped school, estranged relatives, secret moves, been acted upon sooner. It's crazy how when you look back, you see things that could have been done differently. I wonder it's because we give up sometimes and stop challenging it. And maybe the key to most of these things is, especially for its persistence, it's just you can't stop challenging what doesn't feel right. And I'm a little shocked about the delay in the school. It seems like every time we do a video, if you look at the videos like that, it doesn't mean to be this way, but there seems to be something in where you would expect more oversight, and it's a little bit more lax. And then sadly, I feel they're basics. And when the basics aren't done, the end result is something like this. So again, who's making sure those basics are being done? Expert and investigative perspective. Authorities have been careful not to speculate publicly beyond the facts. By protocol, the first priority in any missing child cases to rule out caregiver involvement. As the FBI child victim specialist explains, investigators will assess parents to ensure that a parent is not potentially involved in a child's disappearance before moving on. In Melodee's case, Ashley Buzzard's refusal to cooperate certainly raises investigators' suspicion, as evidenced by the sheriff's spokesperson calling the situation suspicious. However, no charges have been filed and no definitive evidence against her has emerged. Investigators must also consider other scenarios: accidents, abduction by a stranger, or even acquaintance involvement. Internet sleuths have floated wild theories, but detectives warn that speculation can be dangerous. In practice, experienced officers and FBI agents will keep an open mind, They will gather any physical evidence, for example, forensic dusting or the rental car, interview anyone who might have seen the car or mother, and analyze phone or bank records. Meanwhile, they continue the public appeal for information. As sheriff deputies emphasized, the foremost goal is still locating Melodee and confirming that she's safe. In the end, experts note only time and thorough investigation will answer whether Melodee is being deliberately hidden or has become a victim of more tragic turn. Until Melodee is found or new evidence comes to light, all possibilities from the hopeful to the worst case must remain on the table. All right, here you go, Melodee. Where are you, Melodee? Where are you? There you go, Melodee. There you are. There's Melodee and her mother. And let me give you the number one more time in case you have any information. The number I got here is for the county, the Santa Barbara County Sheriff, 805-681-4150. And the anonymous tip line is 805-681-4171. Or you could also drop off tips at the sheriff office website. All right, guys. Just information to share. Maybe if we all work together, we could find this little girl and bring her home safe. As always, guys, stay safe.